Hi guys, today we're going to scry. I'm going to show you my favorite scrying technique, and it's a very easy technique with very few tools, and they're probably tools you already have. First thing you need is a bowl, and you need a candle, and then you need water. And I use either spring water, well actually I use rainwater mostly, but you can use any water you like. I've even used tap water apparently with great results. I was at a Halloween party, and I just, in the spirit of things, I grabbed a candle and a bowl, and I'm like, oh, let me read for somebody. And a lady's like, okay, I'll do it. I'm reading. I said, okay, and I gave her a reading. And then like a year later, maybe a year and a half later, I met her at Hobby Lobby. And she's like, oh my gosh, you've got to read for me again. Everything you said came true. And I'm like, really? And she said, oh yeah. And I'm like, she's like, read for me. And I'm, okay, yeah, sure. Well, I never did because I really only scry for myself. But it's really nice to know that it actually does work for other people. So that was kind of a confidence booster there. Okay, so you have your bowl, your candle, and your water. And what you need to do is purify the bowl because you want to get all the vibrations off of it. And then you're going to formulate your question, and you can meditate on it, pray on it, whatever you do to focus on your question. Then you're going to set up your bowl. If you're going to do a time frame, you can do by, quarters and seasons, or you can do it by the clock, or whatever way you do it. You're going to be able to read it that way. So that's up to you how you do that. Okay, so you're ready, and you pour your water in the bowl. And you take your candle of appropriate color. You want to make sure that color represents the question you're asking. And then we simply put the candle over the bowl, and then you let it drip. Now, when you first start out, you tend to want to get a gigantic bowl, and because it looks nice or whatever reason, but it takes a while to scry with the wax because you're dripping and dripping and dripping. And so remember that it can take forever. And then the candles are also intimidating. When you first start, you're like, oh my gosh. You usually use a taper candle, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got this big long candle. This thing takes forever, and it does. It takes forever to drip a taper candle. But you don't have to use the whole candle. You do use one candle per scrying, but you don't have to use the whole candle. You can melt it down and use it for something else if you like. So all we're doing is we're watching this candle drip into the water, and you'll see all these little things floating around, your little wax, and I use a very metaphysical term for this, and it's debris. You'll see all this debris floating around. It'll swirl, and then sometimes it'll just clump, but it'll stick to the sides of the bowl. Well, it won't stick, but it'll float to the sides of the bowl. And your candle will continue to drip. And I don't know if you can see my arm, but I have my elbow against the table. Don't do that. You want to keep your hand free to move around, because what you'll do is your hand can go here, it can go here, and that's okay if it moves around. You don't have to keep it in the center. You want to bring it back to the center once you see it moving, but the fact that your hand moved was very natural, and you want to keep your hand available for movement, so you don't want to park it against your elbow against the table or your wrist against the bowl. That's another one that we do. And this wax scrying is not fast. I mean, it's not any long, it's quicker than like tarot and stuff like that, but tarot or other, even like crystal ball and all that. But let it go, and it's time to stop dripping that wax when you feel it's time to stop dripping the wax. Now you see how I just rolled the candle? I always try to stop doing that, but I always do it, so I'm assuming that that's just one of those things that you're supposed to do. Okay, now, I don't know if you can see in here, I hope you can, but you see all the debris around the edges, and you want to look at that, and you want to read that. Not now, but, keep dripping and keep dripping, and it'll form. Now I see in the center here, there's another metaphysical word, blob. There's a blob forming, and it's drip, 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 and it's just dripping on top of the blob now. and there's no more debris forming because it's on the blob. Now you're thinking, okay, it's time to stop because there's no more of the debris, but that's not true. That blob is very important, and that's actually one of the main readings you're going to have. So once the candle wax starts dripping and making that blob, don't stop, unless of course you think you need to, but it's okay to keep going. It's not like futile. You just keep going and keep going because things are happening under there that you don't know are happening. And there is a lot that is going to be on the bottom of that blob that you're going to read, as well as the debris in the bowl. So we're going to keep dripping, and you're going to keep focused on your question because you want a good answer. And this, I mean, I might put up some pictures because I took pictures of some of the things that I've done, and I can explain them to you if you're interested. Some of the pictures are just right on. I mean, you look at them and you're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it looks like, and you'll be amazed at what you get out of this, because right now it doesn't look like it. You're like, oh, you're gonna be kidding. So what you're gonna do, you're looking in the bowl, and if you've designed it so that you have a time frame, you're gonna want to look for numbers or symbols. So you look all through the bowl for your numbers, your symbols, pictures that you see that mean something to you. You know, you'll see hearts or you'll see arrows. And I'm a big believer in don't use a book. Go with your own impressions. I mean, if something looks like, you know, a turkey to you, it's a turkey. And what does a turkey mean to you? If you are symbolically challenged, go ahead and get a book, but do it before you scry. So you can look through the book, you can have some meanings attached to a symbol. So once that meaning is attached to the symbol for you, and then you scry, then yeah, of course, you can use that symbol because it does mean something to you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stop the dripping, and you're going to look in the bowl, and you have all your debris around there, and you can see, I see some letters, I see a D, I see a smiley face, I see a moon. I mean, you're going to see a lot of stuff in here, numbers, letters, symbols, a lot. Then after you go through the bowl and you read it, you put your hand in very gently, and you're going to pick up the blob. And here's the blob, here's the top of the blob. Now look at the shape of it. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, it already has a meaning to me. I mean, I already see something in it that means something to me. Actually, a few things. But anyway, see how there's some delicate images here and down here, like a little tail thing. But if you turn the blob over, and I hope you can see this, there is all kinds of shapes and forms and swirls and bumps. And here, I'm going to put it up here. Hopefully you can see it. And it's through there that you're actually going to get a lot of your images. So look at the shape of the blob. See how it looks? Now to me, this looks like a sword. See the sword handle going through the earth? That's what it looks like to me on that side. But what you're going to do is you're going to look through the back. You're going to turn it over. Look at all the blob shapes. Even colors. See how here there's a little bit darker where the wax burned a little bit. And you're going to read the shape, and then you're going to decipher the meaning for you. And that's the wax scrying. And like I said, it's very, very effective for me. And I hope it is for you too. And if you have some successes with it, let me know about it. I'd really like to hear how you liked wax scrying. And I'll try to put some pictures up for you too. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.